Hola, hola, bienvenidos a su nuevo episodio aquí de No sabemos, pero opinamos. Yo soy Jessica
Y yo soy Marta.
y en este espacio hablamos de todo, de nada, pero siempre con muchas ganas. ¿Cómo andamos, Marta?
Pues aquí bien con la mente abierta para aprender nuevos myths or ways to learn to travel.
De viaje en viaje. Pobres, pero viajeras, ¿eh? Porque hay que conocer el mundo. Pero hoy quiero darle la bienvenida nuevamente a mi hermana, The Traveling Maestra, que estuvo en nuestro episodio pasado hablando de todos sus viajes y lugares que ha conocido. Y ahora estamos aquí para parte número 2. En this episode is a good one porque vamos a platicar de algo que mucha gente tiene curiosidad y quizás no saben completamente. And it's traveling with points, those credit cards that give you some of those points and can help with the expense of that traveling. And in the last episode, we got into travel stories, cultura, and real experiences. Pero hoy, we're switching it up and getting into the strategy behind how people are actually traveling for less. Like, for example, how are people booking flights, staying in nice hotels, and not paying full price? So, if you've ever seen someone traveling y thought, ay, ¿y este? ¿En qué trabaja? O, ¿cómo le hace si ni trabaja?
¿Verdad?
Y ya andan de otra vez allá en las
¿Cómo le
Europas.
hacen?
¿Cómo le hacen? ¿En qué trabajan? ¿Qué hacen? O no trabajan, ¿cómo le hacen?
A mí se me hace que andan mal.
So how are they doing that? And this episode is for you. We're breaking it down, keeping it real, and making it make sense. So let's get into it. So, bienvenida nuevamente, Isabel.
Muchas gracias de nuevo por la invitación.
A ver, primera pregunta. What does traveling with points actually mean in simple terms?
It's how to use a credit card perk that you have to help you lower the cost of your travel or hotel stay. In layman's terms, basically.
How do point systems connect to flights and hotels?
Okay, so that works a little bit different. Not all credit cards work in that way. So, for instance, a few moments ago, you and I were talking that you have traveling points or credit card points with a credit union. So, not all credit cards are created the same. There are a couple of big companies, so I will name a few. Chase, for one, American Express, Capital One, Citibank, Wells Fargo, from just off the top of my head. Those points that you accumulate on those credit cards, you're able to transfer them out. What that means is if I have them in bucket A, I can then send them to Air France. I can send them to British Airways. I can send them to Aeromexico. And then I can use that perk that I've accumulated on my credit card to offset the cost of a flight. So instead of paying cash for my flight, I'll use points plus tax. The tax will always be paid in cash. So that's how it works. But not all credit cards work the same. There are credit cards, for instance, I have a Bank of America one that's a travel card, but that's more like a cashback card. And that will just take away from whatever I've purchased during that payment period. So not all credit cards are essentially created equal. Not all of them, even though it's a travel credit card, not all of them are something that I would recommend that you get because they will not be able to be used for acquiring a flight ticket.
When did you first understand how this world of the credit card points worked?
I've always had a travel credit card. I think my very first one was a Chase Sapphire. I got that a very, very long time ago. And I would get so excited. Oh, I got so many points for purchasing my normal everyday. But I would use those points via the portal. What that means is, like, for instance, Chase. I would go into my app. I say, oh, I have XY amount of points. I remember the first time I used points, I went with my best friend Victor. We went to his cousin's wedding in Mexico City. And I was so excited that I was able to buy, like, flights and I paid no money. But during COVID, when everything shut down, I was teaching from home. My workday literally ended, the teaching part ended at like noon or 1 o'clock. So then from 1 until 3, which was my workday, I could do other things for work. During that time, I wasn't able to visit my family. I wasn't able to visit friends, family. It was just myself, my dogs at the house. I don't know, some YouTube video popped up one day and I just fell down the rabbit hole. And if you know me, I think my sisters do, when I get obsessed with something, I need to acquire all the things, all the bells and whistles of that one thing, whether it be my cricket, my journaling right now, my making jewelry, my XYZ. So when I got into it, I just started reading and reading and reading and reading. And I accumulated over COVID over 1,000,000 points. And I'm on a teacher's salary. So if I could accumulate that many points, it's easier than it clicked. My house, my groceries, I can accumulate thousands and thousands of points. And that can offset my travel. It just made sense. Even though at the time I didn't have any upcoming travel set. Like my first trip after COVID, I paid with money. Like I still wasn't really understanding. It clicked. I think that's one of your next questions, but it started making sense. But when it clicked, I think it was. Are we going to that question now?
You can go.
One day, the only way you can learn how to do that is you have to run searches. What that means is I would go literally on British Airways or Air France, and instead of saying book with dollars or money, there's another tab that says book with points. And I went on there and I just clicked Chicago to Paris or Chicago to Italy. And it said 50,000 points. And at that time I had like 600,000 points already accumulated. And for some reason, I'm just like, well, what am I going to do with these points? I don't like traveling alone. I clicked for 4 tickets. So I'm like, I'll take my siblings. First, I'll ask if their partners are okay with them leaving them for a week. And I found 4 tickets going and coming back during my spring break. And I think we all more or less had the same time frame. I'm like, we can leave on a Saturday so no one misses any time from work and come back the following Sunday. I'll use my points. We'll go business class. I don't think it took them more than 48 hours to say yes. Mm-hmm. I used up, I think, 400,000 or 500,000 points for 4 tickets round trip. And that's when I knew, oh my God, with just doing a couple of sign-up bonuses a year, I could travel like this. I mean, I'm not going to take family often. Like that was there one time everybody gets 1 free ticket, except my parents maybe. But it just made sense that we traveled on a ticket that was like $11,000 or more round trip in business class. And I think we paid $400 in taxes per person to travel in that way. Then that's where it's just like, it was like a high. I needed the next card. So
Nice.
No, y luego nos llevó en business class.
Uh-huh.
Y por alguien que like vuela Volaris, right? Like Mexico, que no hay, que your hips don't fit in the seat, your knees are hitting the person in front of you, el de enfrente se quiere acostar y casi tienes la cabeza del viejo acá en las piernas. No, business class is
Nice.
like nice. Like
Yeah.
it's nice. Y luego entras y luego estaba la hermosa. Can I take your coat? Like,
¡Órale!
Y luego te traen de tomar todo lo que quieres. Te dan 2-3 meals.
What?
Te dan, it's not. Y luego your feet are out. Y la little screen to watch TV. Y luego it's like a little huevito like cubicle thing.
Uh-huh.
So you have this like divider que te divide de la persona next to you if there is a person next to you. Like it is
Really
fancy.
Wow.
So yes, I think that the idea of someone like us finally being able to travel like that, it just opened your eyes to a totally different way of like, oh my God, I cannot travel any other way now.
Right.
And that was going to be my next question. What surprised you the most when you realized that you can travel like this?
That it's easier. It's not something only the rich can do. Any person, as long as they're a little bit well versed with the understanding of how to use points, anybody can travel like that. And in that year alone, I think I did 3 business class seats, like trips. Like, I'm like, oh my God, it was like, I need to find the next deal. And then I was finding deals for like 38,000 points. Okay, when we talk about points, you have to divide the point by 0.01. So each point is worth a penny. So 38,000 points is $380. So I found a ticket to get myself to Madrid But Madrid wasn't where I wanted to go. I wanted to go like Paris or something else. So then I found a cheap ticket. So for 38,000 points, I could have exchanged them for a gift card. They would have given me $380, but I got a ticket that was worth over $5,000 for 380 points.
Wow.
So, and I paid, I think it was like $250 in taxes. So yes, I am traveling, spending less money than traveling on economy, and I'm traveling way more comfortably and experiencing travel in a way that people like us don't envision traveling.
Yeah.
Like I could never fathom spending $10,000 on a flight. That would be like my budget for multiple trips, not for just one. So now that I can do that, I mean, I don't do it often because now I'm able to, thank goodness, myself, my brother, my siblings are able to take our parents on these trips. So we all try and use up our points and giving them those experiences. So like on our last trip, I was able to get four of us from Chicago to London for 50,000 points each, which was $500 had I exchanged them for money. So it would have been like $2,000, but each ticket was worth $6,000. But coming back, it was only economy. And my mom wasn't very happy.
Aw.
This is when you realize she's got a master's in math, porque yo no le entiendo que divided by the root square of 52, huh? You know, pues solo nosotros, como yo y mi otra hermana, we're like, nomás dinos cuánto es. Like,
Just give us the total.
Yeah, here's like, yo nomás te lo pongo. Like, just tell me. Just straight up what how much it is.
That is awesome. So from that point on, that's the way you have traveled most of the time.
Yes. This last time in November, we went to Madrid. But there was a very good deal to get our round trip to Madrid. And literally for a weekend, we didn't even go. We went, what, for 4 or 5 days? 5 days? I think we spent less than 20,000 points. That's $200 had we exchanged it for money. The flight round trip, it was peak. It was $1,700 economy. And that was just the seat, plus seat assignment, plus luggage. So maybe $1,900 for $200. And I think that's what we paid for taxes and 20,000 points.
Wow.
Like, I will travel economy at that price often.
Yeah.
So it just makes travel so much easier.
So it did change the way you travel after that.
Most definitely, yes. Because now I know how much I need to travel in business. So if it's only me, I will travel in business. But if I'm traveling with someone or I'm offering a seat for somebody else, like using my points, then it's usually economy because I don't have enough to cover both.
So when you use the points, did they expire? Do you have to use them at a certain time?
So
or
when it's in your credit card, so if it's in your specific credit card, so those 4 or 5 credit cards that I named, they remain there. But there is a word that's called devalue. What that means is they're valued, like the credit card company will always give you 1 penny per point. You have to spend $1 to get 1 point. But if you were to exchange them that point for money, you only get 1 penny per point. So for 200,000 points, you get $2,000. And people are like, oh my God, I can use that. But the thing is, I can then use 200,000 points. So I'll give another example. I went to Doha on a flight that most people dream of. It's a Qatar. It's called Q Suite. It's literally a suite.
Mm-hmm.
That flight alone is almost $10,000 just one way. I used 70,000 points, which was $700. Like if I wanted the money, taxes, I think it was like around $300. So I spent 70,000 points plus $300 for a flight that's worth over $10,000.
Wow.
So that's where things start making sense. I'm like, I'm a teacher on a teacher's salary, so we don't make lots of money. If I can accumulate this many points, anyone can. We just have to be very strategic and be very cognizant of what you're using so that you're not getting into credit card debt, because then it defeats the purpose of getting points.
Mm-hmm.
What actually makes a good points strategy?
I think, for one, you need to be able to read up. So I'm in multiple like Facebook groups online. I follow especially any kind of Reddit thread related to points. So if you can get anywhere between 4 cents back per point is a good strategy. So for instance, I want to go to Mexico. I want to visit my parents. The ticket, say for instance, it's $700, but it's asking me for 100,000 points. That would be ridiculous because 100,000 points is $1,000. But then people are like, oh, I can use it, but then I can use it, but it's not business. It's not that. So you have to look at the value of what is that ticket actually worth and the cost and like actual money, and then how many points are you using? So if I'm using 100,000 points for a one-way business class seat, I think I could get a better deal. So that's where math comes into play, and you have to do these calculations. So, but if you don't want to figure that out, you just want to accumulate points, there are agencies out there that will help you exchange your points for flights if you don't want to deal with all the logistics of doing the math. But technically, if you're getting 4 cents or more per point, that is when you're getting a good deal. And you can use points depending on the credit card. Some you're able to transfer them to hotels as well, hotels and airfare. Unfortunately, I don't acquire that many points. I'd rather use my points for flights versus hotel. Because hotel, I'm usually sharing a room with like a family member, or we're getting an Airbnb where we're all just sharing the cost. So for me, it's more cost effective to just pay cash for my lodging, but using my points for my travel.
Okay. What was something that people misunderstand about how to earn points and how they work?
I think it's that. It just people say, "Oh, I have a credit card with points." But not all points are created equal. Not all credit cards are created equal. So that's a very big misconception. Not just because my credit card says it's a travel credit card, does it mean that I can actually use it to buy a flight? And then certain credit cards, the word portal, what that means is if you go through their website, through their app, most credit cards have like a travel section where you can use your points to book things. So for instance, I'll use Bank of America. You can use their points that you acquire, but you have to use them through them. So you can't like take those out. It's like a bank. So like the other credit cards, I can take my points and send them somewhere else. Certain credit cards don't allow you to do that. So that's the misconception. Not all credit points are created equal, and some are more valuable than others.
And those credit card portals, are they offering you good deals compared of transferring your points to an actually like airline portal?
No. Once we end, if you follow, I have a few examples on like on my Instagram. No, sometimes since they value the point at 1 cent. So for instance, I want to travel to Cancun. The flight is $1,100. That will be 110,000 points because they are calculating that at 1 cent a point. So they will say, you want to travel Cancun, it's $1,000. You need 100,000 points through their portal. But I can take 100,000 points out, transfer them to Aero Mexico, and then travel for maybe 50,000 points round trip to Cancun in business class. So that's where people need to understand that you need to take those points out from your bank and transfer them to the specific airline that you want to travel. But you can't send them to everywhere. Every credit card has certain partnerships with certain airlines.
So you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong so I can understand. So you're saying that the portals most likely are in contract with certain airlines or certain flights, right? And that's where you use them, but you're not using them to their fullest extent. Versus like if they're traveling points, and then you can transfer them to any airline or any airline that you want to go to, and it gives it more value.
In a nutshell, that is correct.
Okay.
So that's not the case all the time. You may find a good deal using it through the portal, but I have never booked anything via a portal. The only time I use the portal is if I'm getting. This will be an offshoot to another thing. If, say, for instance, if I book something, but I'm paying cash and I'm getting 5 or 10 times the value in points. So I'm spending $1,000 on airfare, which I usually do for like my parents when they come in to visit us. We have to pay for their flights because Volaris doesn't use points, or not the points that we have. They have their own travel thing, but we don't have that. So for instance, for them, I will then maybe book it through a portal where I'm getting the value of points is more than just XYZ on my credit card.
Okay.
But yes, it's very seldom that you will get a good value booking something via a portal, a travel portal, using your points. It's always best to move them out.
Okay.
When you sign up for a point credit card, like you can find out beforehand what airlines or what portals they are associated with before you sign up?
Most definitely. You can always do a Google search and see what airline partnerships each credit card has. There are lots of websites available. One that I like is the Travel Guy or the Travels Points Guy or something like that. I'll have to look for the exact name. But there's lots of websites already readily available that give you all that information. And a quick Google search will tell you this place will let you can transfer your points from this credit card to all these airlines.
So it's pretty much kind of do your research and comparison.
Exactly.
And to get the bang for your buck
Now,
for your points.
I do pay for a service called Seats.aero, which is a travel aggregate. What does that mean? It's like a Google search, but for travel. So I put in all my details. I say Chicago to XYZ. I need 4 tickets. I want to travel this, and I have these kind of points. And then it will just spit out and say, okay, there's these flights available using your points that you can transfer it to. So it's like I don't use it exclusively, but that at least gives me a jumping board or to then say, oh, okay, I can look at Air France, I can look at this airline, I can look at this airline to see which one gives me the best option.
What habits help you consistently build points over time?
For sure, I'm always reading. So this is the one hobby I've gotten into that I haven't lost interest in yet, as most of my other hobbies that are then fall by the wayside. So you have to be reading because things change. Maybe there's no longer a partnership with this airline. Now it's a different airline. Maybe this month, I think at that time when we booked our Madrid trip, there was also a bonus. So what that means is for every 1,000 points that I transferred out of where I had my points, they would give me 20 or 30% more. So I actually needed less points to book my flight. So I always keep an eye out. So that's why I need to be planning or thinking about what flights I want for a future. Because if I do come across a good offer where I can transfer 20 or 30% more of my points and get more value, and I'm already going to be booking it, so I may as well transfer some of these points, or I can start booking now. So those are some strategies that you have to keep out. Now, you can acquire points other ways as well. One of the ones that I really like are shopping portals. So what that means is Capital One. You go on Capital One shopping. You're going to make a purchase anyway, so just book it or buy. For instance, whenever there's 20% back for my dog food on one of these shopping portals, I buy 4 months worth. So I may buy $400 worth of points of food. That will give me 20% back. So if I'm spending $400, I'm getting thousands of points back. So it's just another way of adding. Not only am I getting points on my credit card, I'm getting points because I'm shopping through this portal. So anything I buy, I will always look online. So right now, I'm going to pull up an app that my sister probably doesn't know about. It's called Rakuten. So I use Rakuten. It's a shopping portal. I have, it's opening up. How many points are there right now?
42,992.
Okay. And then I have about 30,000 points more coming from bookings that I've done.
Okay.
So I will have a total of 70,000 points from just things that I'm normally booking on top of what I already earned on my credit card. What does 72,000 points equal to? A business class seat from just doing my everyday shopping.
Wow.
But for this Rakuten one, you do need to have an American Express card, unfortunately, because then American Express will give me points. But then there's other ways, like Rakuten isn't the only one. There's others. It's just that one's the one that makes easiest for me. So I always shop via those, plus on top my credit card, plus all these other things. But these are things that I think each topic is a show in itself or a conversation in itself.
No, y luego aparte mi hermana ya nos encharcó a nosotros. Porque when you refer somebody to the points card and then they meet their quota to then they get their points, she then gets points too for referring us.
It's like a pyramid.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I think that we also have to be mindful because not everybody is as financially savvy, right? There's a lot of people that are not consistent with paying their credit cards or what have you. Y yo pienso que obviously we're purchasing things on our credit card to try to earn points, right? Pero I think that be very mindful that if you're putting something on your credit card, you're paying it off because credit card debt is very difficult to get out of once it has accumulated to a point of no return.
Right.
Yeah. Because she's like something that she always tells me is like, pay your regular things with the credit card to earn points. Your light bill, your phone bill, your whatever lo que te deja pagar with that. But make sure it's something that you're going to pay. Like something that you were going to pay with your debit card, pay it with your credit card to get the points and then pay it off right away.
So say, for example, I use my credit card to pay my utilities, right? And I have nothing on my credit card except for what I'm paying on my utilities. Do I wait a month to pay that off or do I pay it right away to get the points?
Okay. So if it's a credit card, you already have a long-standing relationship. I pay my credit cards weekly. So my husband gets paid. I just got paid this Friday. My husband gets paid next Friday. So every Friday there is a paycheck coming into our bank accounts. So we use whatever. Like you can make multiple payments on a credit card. So that's where I think sometimes people think, oh, pero nomás puedo pagar una vez al mes. No, lo que es malo es llenar la tarjeta al tope. Si tienes 10,000, llenarla al tope y luego bajarla. That looks strange. Pero si estás pagando $200 a la semana, 300 a la semana, or whatever, pero cada semana lo estás pagando, that seems like a normal trend. But
right.
Si metes de repente un montón de dinero y luego lo pagas de un golpe y luego you're continuously doing that, it's going to alert the credit card that something is off. So I don't do that. I just do my normal spend, but it's knowing which credit card to use for what things. Mm-hmm. One of my credit cards, I think that we have, gives us like 3x on streaming services. So like my Netflix or things like that, I put on that credit card. Otra me da 4% or 4x on groceries and eating out. So I only use that credit card for those things. Otra me da 5 times when I book travel or airfare. So whenever my parents want to come, como me dicen, Chabela, cómprame el boleto para que tú sepas, they're going to pay me right away. I put it on that credit card. When my girlfriends have asked for flights, I'm like, call me. Because if they're going to spend $1,000, they're already spending it. I'm getting 5,000 points on that. Mm-hmm. I just helped a friend's daughter with her roommates, like her friends. Son 5 muchachas that are going to go to Europe. I think they're all spending roughly about $1,000 times 5. That's 5,000 times 5. It's 25,000 points. So that's where then it comes into play. Les cobro por mis servicios, not necessarily a este grupo. Les voy a ayudar, but I just made 25,000 points.
Yeah, so it's benefiting
25,000 points gets me at least economy to Europe, which is, if I want to go in the summer, that's a $600-700 ticket.
Mm-hmm. But back to your question, Martha. I mean, you can pay it right away, or you can wait till the end of the month, but don't let the 30 days go past para que no te agreguen el interés. That would be the only thing.
Yeah, because I usually use my credit cards credit card, and I pay it off right away. Like if I use it, like last week I used it, I think, to buy some lotion I needed or whatever. And I forgot my debit card because I usually pay with my debit card, but I paid it with my credit card. This week I got paid, so I paid it off.
And this is the other thing. I never pay anything with a debit. Not because there isn't money in the debit, but here's the thing. The debit is your money. God forbid, te la roban. Te sacan el dinero. El banco se va a tardar en regresarte tu dinero.
Yeah.
Usa la tarjeta de crédito. Te la roban. El dinero es del banco. Ellos se tienen que encargar de hacer la investigación. Entonces tú no estás... tú no eres responsable por ese gasto.
Yeah.
Ahora, yo pongo absolutamente todo en esta tarjeta. No hay algo que yo no... Lo único que no se puede poner es my mortgage and my car note. But I recently got a new credit card that does allow me to put my mortgage. So I will be acquiring about 3,000 points extra a month. for this particular credit card. Now, as I said, not all credit cards are equal. Some do have an annual fee, and we can get into that. So that's where people get afraid. They're like, pero es que yo no quiero pagar por una tarjeta. Bueno, si quieres ciertos beneficios, a veces you have to pay to play type thing.
Right.
So I'm getting a lot more value. Yes, when I see that $700 charge on my credit card, I get scared. But the value that I'm getting on the back end is a lot more than $700.
Right.
Y luego, ya ves que those are annual fees, right? That come with the credit card. And for somebody like Isabel that travels a lot and ya sabe what perks she can get out of it, obviously are going to outweigh that annual fee. Because, like, for example, I haven't gotten that American Express because the annual fee is, was it $3.95? Oh, yeah, $7.95. Yeah, y yo no voy a usar eso because I already know. I'm not too well versed on like que the free hotel stays, que the other perks that come along to outweigh that fee. So yo no
Right.
puedo. Pero somebody like her que ya está bien en el movimiento, a ella le conviene, pero a mí
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
What are some good starter credit cards for someone who wants to get into points?
Right now, there's a couple. Also, there is a rule. So, Chase, for instance, has something called the 524 rule. What does that mean? That within a 24-month period, you shouldn't be getting more than 5 credit cards or they will not approve you. You also need to have a certain credit value, right? So your credit score has to be pretty decent, especially with Chase. But one of my go-to cards will definitely be the Chase credit card line. They have really good business cards that will get you up to 100,000 points after spending anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000. But you're like, ay, eso es mucho dinero, Isabel. Ponte a pensar, but that's over 3 months. Si pones your groceries, your gas, your any kind of utilities, you're spending over $1,000 easily a month on those things. And then if you're a family like you, Jessica, your grocery bill is, yeah, ¿cuánto no cuesta? Like, it's only myself and my husband, my dogs, but a la semana, I'm easily spending $150 on groceries just for us. And then when I buy their dog food, so it's easier than people think. So this is what I do. I open at least 2 credit cards a year, one every 6 months or so. It's about $4,000 that I have to spend. But sometimes, like right now that we just did our family trip, everyone feels more comfortable with me because I'm like, if you want points, because all my siblings are in the credit card points system.
Ya estamos en la mafia, Marta.
Y yo les digo, si ustedes lo quieren poner, like, it doesn't matter. But sometimes it's easier to put all things, especially like lodging, if I need 5 or 6 rooms, to put it on one credit card than, say, for instance, Jessica agarra el de ella, luego yo el mío, y luego ya que no vaya a ver. That's where, or like buying certain tickets. So that's when it comes into play. Like, so if you have like a big expense coming, I just had to recently pay taxes, unfortunately. Pinche gobierno. So I needed to meet the spend on my credit card. Y ahí metí el dinero que tenía que pagar. Me cobraron como $18 o $20 por usar la tarjeta, but I'm going to get 100,000 points. 100,000 points is going to equal another very comfy seat for my fat ass. So there are ways, and I am a proponent. I don't think it matters how much you make, because I think everyone has these spends that we need to meet. I think what you have to be very, very cognizant or conscientious about is how is your relationship with money. So if you do not have a good relationship with money and paying off debt, then credit cards system, this is not for you. This is for someone that is able to pay it off in one cycle, or maybe, I mean, we all come into like hardships, pero que lo puedas pagar relativamente rápido. No que sea una cadena que nomás voy a pagar lo mínimo y vas a durar años. Then it defeats the purpose of what little benefit you are getting.
Right. Okay. Yeah. What should people look for when choosing their first travel card?
Something that you feel comfortable, because all travel credit cards, not all, but the majority will have an annual fee. So it has to be how comfortable you feel with annual fees. So I would start off with a card that has a low entry or a low cost annual fee. So right now, Chase, as I was saying, is a good one. It's usually $95 a year. And it gets you anywhere between 60 to 100,000 or 90,000, depending on what offer is available at the time. But always go through a friend. So if you need a link, please ask. I will send you my referral code. That is a plug. The other one, Capital One, is another very good one. Gives you very good points, and you're able to transfer them.
I have that. I have, what is it? Bank of America, and I have Chase and Capital One.
So Capital One, it has to be a venture. So there's lots of, like, Capital One has Spark or whatever. It has to be a venture card, a venture or venture X. Those are the ones that you want the points. With Chase, it's Chase Sapphire. That's one. Chase Sapphire and Chase Reserve are preferred, one of the two. But then if you have some of the Freedom cards, you can combine your points. So if Chase has like 3 or 4 really good cards that I have.
Yeah, they keep offering me.
You can combine them eventually, or like Jessica and Francisco, they're married. Paco has his card, Jessica has hers. Paco can send his points to Jessica so that you have one big pot of points. So I would start off with those cards, and I would always wait until it's like maybe the sign up bonus is like 100,000 points. 100,000 points would get you maybe 2 flights, maybe 3 if you're really good at finding it. An economy round trip. If I can find 15,000 points, so 30,000 points round trip, I can get 3 economy tickets round trip to Europe, or I can get 1 business class seat to Europe. So with 1 sign up. So just by spending a little bit of money that I was going to spend anyway, you're able to, the value I think is a lot better.
Did you make any mistakes at the beginning when it came to points cards?
Well, definitely. When I first had my original card, prior to understanding what this was, when I mentioned, like, my very first trip, I think I booked it through the portal. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, puedo ir a Mexico gratis. But I used so many points. And this was prior to COVID, prior to, like, me understanding what it really was. But yes, recently, I think it's when we were booking our flight for coming back home, Virgin Atlantic. It was a premium economy. Yes, taxes, unfortunately, not all of them are free. So don't think of this as free travel. There is a cost associated for a couple $100 in tax, sometimes a little bit more. But I transferred more points than I needed to Virgin Atlantic. So I click on the button to transfer. I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't press the button. I pressed it again. So I submitted 2 orders of 36,000 points to my Virgin Atlantic account. The good thing is I had these trips coming up, so I was able to use it. But yes, you have to be very slow. You have to like check and see. And tickets on points are not as easy as people think. Now that more people, I think, are understanding, or certain routes that people want to do, as soon as you see it, you have to book it. Like when I saw that from Madrid, I'm like, hay boletos. Like, si los quieren es ahorita. And I think I told you guys in the afternoon, and by that evening, like, all of us had our tickets. Even one of my ex-students who is now, she's studying nursing. I got her on board. Like, an ex-student is now also in the point system. Y ella llegó a Madrid like 2 days after us. And la invité a cenar con nosotros.
Do you need to be experienced with credit cards just to even start?
Not so much experience, but I think that reason, like, you have to be financially savvy. Like, you need, like, if you're already in credit card debt and you want to travel, I don't think this would be something for you. If you don't have a good credit score, if you don't have a good relationship with money, this is not something you want to do. If you're not able to pay off your statement, like, si le vas a meter $2,000 en un mes, ¿tienes $2,000 para pagar al final del mes? Si no, no. Like, then travel like the normal, not normal, but travel using cash, not travel using points. But if you are very savvy with your money and you feel confident that you can pay off within one billing cycle, then yes, I think anyone can learn how to play this game and like travel very comfortably.
Pero que se preocupe el que le debo, ¿verdad, Marta?
Pues
Porque
sí.
lo paseado, ¿quién me lo va a quitar?
Ya te lo pueden quitar.
Ya no, ¿quién me lo va a quitar? Ya lo
no.
paseado, imagínate. No, hombre, ni Chase, ni Bank of America, ni nadie.
Paseada en las nalgas bien a gusto en esa
Imagínate.
colchoneta. En this one last flight, hasta una pinche almohadita me regalaron. Y ahí la tengo en mi cama. Me dieron pijamas.
What?
A mí no me quedaron, pero...
Imagínate, Marta, nuestro vinito y cigarrito allá en Roma. ¿Quién nos lo va a quitar? No,
Nadie.
hombre. Se preocupe ellos que le debo. What's your best trip you've ever booked using points?
It's definitely okay. So in the previous episode, I mentioned a little bit of my travels. My bucket list. Last year, I turned 50, so I had a bucket list trip, which was I wanted to see the pyramids of Giza. I wanted to see the Sphinx, and I wanted a camel. I wanted all three in one picture. So I booked my trip to Egypt. I went to Egypt, Jordan, Doha, Qatar for New Year, Dubai for New Year's Eve, and I needed to pick up some butter in Paris. So I I found this amazing flight that's usually worth about $10,000 on points. It was like 90,000 points, and like I said, 90,000 points is $900 for a $10,000 flight. It was a no-brainer. Like I slept for 10, 12 hours. Like my friend, and then my best friend Victor, as I mentioned before, the deal was I'm using my points to pay for the flights, but he was paying for all our lodging. So this man not only wants to. Ay, ¿qué hizo Victor? Mira lo que hizo Victor. There was only one flight that was economy, and then he was on his phone. Y dice, Chabela, cancela los boletos y yo pago los de business. He paid. I mean, it was like a local flight, but in business. He's like, I can't. Yo no va a poder sentarse en un asiento normal. But when I experienced that level of, like, we've been in business before, but I experienced comfort at that. And there's a certain other one that I want to experience. Like, it changes the way you travel.
Yeah.
It makes you think, I belong. Like, everyone belongs in that area. My body, doesn't matter how big, how small, I should occupy this space here, now, tomorrow, every day. Like, not because just the color of our skin or the language we speak or our name. Like, we belong in those spaces. And starting to see how people like us are occupying that space, like, it just makes travel even more rewarding, I think. Mm-hmm. But that was my best. And there was a bonus, so I actually only used 75,000 points, which was $750 in dollars for a $10,000 flight.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. So how long did it take you, and I know that's not in the question, but how long did it take you to learn all this? I mean, I know it takes time. It sounds like it takes some time to really comprehend, maneuver the way, how to maneuver through these credit cards, because, credit cards, to me, in my perspective, are enemies.
Yeah. I think it's, COVID was a blessing and maybe not so much a blessing in certain respects. For me, it was a time, I have always been a person that I need to be reading. I need to be learning something. Mm-hmm. So I just read and read and read. But through practice, it was just, I would run searches. I would be like, okay, if I wanted to travel from here to there, how much would it be? It was just a matter of practicing and looking at videos on YouTube. I watched endless hours. I would try and follow, but the only thing is I never found people that were Latino. Like, I found some on Instagram, but not really anything on YouTube, videos like that, where it was in Spanish or a Latino doing. So that's where it's just I kept delving and looking. But it was during COVID. We had so much time that's all you did. Either you became a vegetable and a couch potato and watched TV, or you did something. So since we couldn't do anything, I was just reading and reading and reading.
That's nice.
What's the biggest misconception people have about points travel?
That it's free. It is not technically free. Why? Because there is you have to pay to play type game. You have to paying an annual fee on these credit cards. So there's a little bit of investment into it, right? Sometimes I've taken classes. I've gone to Los Angeles to do a meetup for people with travel points. So there is an investment on your part, not only time, but money as well. And it's not free. Yes, you can use points, but then you have to pay the tax. Certain airlines, like American Airlines, not American Airlines, but American based, like Delta, United, American Airlines, the taxes are a lot lower. So sometimes people spend a lot of points, but little bit of taxes. or if you travel to like use other airlines, it's less points but more taxes. So which one? You have to like put in a balance. What do you prefer? Me personally, I don't mind spending a little bit more in taxes and using my points that way than using a lot of points where I can probably get more value.
Do people assume it's more complicated than it really is?
I think from what we were just going, yes.
Yeah.
You think there's lots of math, but there's really only one calculation. You have to either divide by 0.1 or multiply by whatever bonus there is. So there is a little bit of math, but that I think is one of the things. It's like you have to have a little bit of understanding of how these things work. It's not as it's very gray and so it's either black or white. It's either you can or you can't. So there is no gray area with points. But you do have to have a little bit of understanding on how to maneuver things and at what times and exactly.
So is it actually accessible for regular people or only frequent travelers?
No, I think this can be access to anyone because, for instance, you and your family, you're not really planning on traveling airfare, but you want to explore, I don't know, you want to do something in the Southwest, you want to do a road trip. Well, you can transfer your Chase points to Hyatt. When I went to Los Angeles for a weekend, literally I left on a Friday, came back on a Sunday, 2-night hotel. I spent like 10,000 points on a very nice hotel. So you can use your points towards booking hotel. So it doesn't only have to be airfare, but certain credit cards do allow you to transfer to hotels. So there are other ways of doing it.
Where can people follow you so they can see all your activities?
Well, yes. Right now, I am in social media. I am the Traveling Maestra. I am on Instagram and TikTok, and that's where I usually post things on credit card points or things like related to that. So those are my two social media locations.
Now, obviously, everybody's situation is different, or their traveling goals are different. So different credit cards, different folks, different strokes, kind of thing, right? That the benefit. If somebody wants to set up a time with you directly, or via Zoom or in person, she does live in the Metro Chicago area. But are people able to contact you and have that kind of service?
Oh, most definitely. If you wanted any kind, I can just reach out. There are a couple of credit cards on my top 10 list that I would certainly recommend to anyone, but it does definitely depend on what your travel goals are, how confident you feel about paying annual fees, and how willing you are to do certain things that maybe you're like, why am I getting this kind of credit card if I don't have? For instance, I'm talking about a business credit card. If I don't have
Te digo que es la mafia. Ya sé, está dentro de la mafia. We no mafia stuff here.
Somos mexicanos, but not that kind of Mexican. But yes, there are certain credit cards that give you very good perks. I will go into one. I want to book an Airbnb. Certain credit cards don't allow, like if I were to book it with a credit card, I'm only getting 1 times the value. So if I'm paying $2,000 for my Airbnb, I'm only getting 2,000 points. But if I get gift cards from said store with a specific credit, I can't say them because we can get in trouble. Yeah. But if I were to get gift cards, for example, with a specific credit card, I can get 5 times the value. So that $2,000 lodging, I am now going to get 10,000 points. But here's the kicker. So I'm getting 10,000 points for $2,000. But if I book it, because Airbnb and British Airways have a connection, they're linked, they have a partnership. If I book it through the British Airways link, I am then getting 2 times the value. So I'm getting 5 times the value for the $2,000 gift card that I just purchased, plus 8,000 points. So I'm getting 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4. I'm getting 14,000 points for $2,000. That is a one-way ticket to Europe. And this is how, I guess we'll end there. That's how I've been able to accumulate so many points so quickly because my siblings are very nice. Oh, we're going to San Miguel de Allende. You booked a $3,000 Airbnb, Chabela. Ahorita te pagamos. Y todos me pagan. So Chabela just accumulated a shit ton of points. But then Chabela is very nice, and I've taken them on a trip. Now I'll be taking my nephews on a trip using those points, and I've been taking my parents. So it's not just for me. Like,
Right.
I as a good immigrant child, I try to share the wealth and exponerlos a estas experiencias que de otra manera no los tendríamos.
Yeah.
Like, me on my salary, yo no me puedo dar el lujo de ir a Europa 3 o 4 veces al año, pero sí me puedo dar el lujo si no tengo que pagar el viaje y nomás me estoy cubriendo. Disculpen, mi perro acaba de ladrar. Pero sí me puedo dar el lujo de pagarme mi hotel. Voy a pagar $150 la noche. Yo no necesito mucho. Pero entonces hay manera de poder viajar más a menudo y gastando menos, pero viajando más a gusto y más bonito.
Very nice.
Vale. Any last questions, Marta?
No, I'm very well knowledge. My head is hurting.
Ya no más falta. A ver, ¿a dónde vamos a ir?
Estoy acá, está tricky el brain.
Tricky el brain. A ver, ¿a dónde?
It's
¿A dónde nos va a llevar los puntos?
Sí,
Sí.
voy a ir a checar mis credit cards.
Sí.
Porque yo sé que tengo, pero nunca checo, no sé.
Ya, a ver
But
qué.
ya me diste una
A starting point.
ventanita.
Cuando necesites, si vas a necesitar una tarjeta, dile a Jessica para que ella te dé su código. Ciertas tarjetas le dan a mi hermana puntos.
Okay.
Si tú te registras, hay a referral.
Okay.
So those are the things that I can give. I can help out, but I can refer you to specific credit cards. And if you sign up and get approved, I get not a lot. It's like 10,000 points. But if 4 or 5 people sign up, that's 40, 50,000 points. Then, so my time for your referral, like, I have to put in a balance. Voy a empezar a cobrar o les digo que hagan esta manera. Porque creo que también ya llega un punto donde yo he dedicado muchísimo tiempo y años en aprender que no puedes regalar nomás toda la información. Porque está disponible en el internet, pero mucha gente no quiere usar el tiempo, gastar su tiempo en aprender. Yo ya hice, y tengo todavía mucho por qué aprender, pero creo que de aquí en adelante hay que hacer un trueque.
A ver, Jessica, ¿cómo me ves a mí?
Pues yo veo que, no voy a decir, ¿en qué trabaja la muchacha? Voy a decir, ¿cuál tarjeta tiene la muchacha?
¿O no me preguntaste cuántas tarjetas tengo?
¿Cuántas tarjetas tienes?
¿Cuántas crees que tengo?
Como unas 5.
No, Marta. Yo creo que como unas 17.
52. ¿A cuántas le tengo balance? Nomás como 5.
What the? Qué padre. No,
A credit score of like the high 700s to like the low 800s.
Yeah. Yo nomás tengo como 3.
Pero ya no uso. Mira, es que yo era de las que, voy a comprar, como cuando recién compré la casa de mami y papi. Tenía que hacer muchos arreglos a la casa. Y yo me saqué la carta de Menards porque me regresaba 5%. So, esas están en mi lista. Tenía la de Target. Ahorita, bueno, después de todo lo de Target, yo no la uso. O sea, está activa, pero no las cancelen. Ustedes no cancelen.
No, nunca.
Deja que ellos te la cancelan. Si ellos te la cancelan, no te afecta tanto. Pero mis 52 cartas incluyen Target, incluye Best Buy, incluye que antes I'm like, me van a dar un poquito. Ajá. So, ahorita yo no uso ninguna, aunque vaya a la Target y me den 5% back. 1000 veces prefiero usar mi otra tarjeta. 5% me vas a rebajar por, no gasto mucho, tal vez detergent or something. Por quitarme $2, prefiero ganar 200 o 300 puntos. Que eso a lo largo voy a ganar yo más que ahorrarme los $5.
Yeah.
So, mis 52 cartas son una combinación de todas esas. So, ahorita yo no uso más que las que realmente me dan un valor a mí.
Yeah. Okay.
No, hombre, yo debo 3 y ya me ando muriendo. Ya.
No, yo, pues, la neta nomás debo una.
Sí.
Una, y eso fue de...
Ya.
Pero I have good credit.
Sí. And I think this
and
has
I
to do with,
have,
if your goal is to travel, I think you'll
Pero
stick
like
to
I
it.
would think, I would like to find a credit card where I can travel, where you can use points.
The points.
I think
So first step, Marta, averigua what kind of credit cards tienes ahorita. if there are any point cards, what are those points
Looking
for y cuántos points tienes.
Okay.
A lo mejor ya te puedes ir a las Europas. Y tú
A
aquí.
lo mejor y aquí yo bien amargada, chingada.
¿Qué tal que tu novio esté allá, Marta?
Pues entonces me caso allá y ya no regreso. In the hell with the credit cards.
Y hacemos, yo creo que sí debería ser mi próximo group, mi tour, Chabela y las muchachas. Y nomás Chabela, o sea, yo con puras mujeres viajar.
Have you thought about doing tour groups?
I have, but I've seen other people online, but I think my tour groups would be geared more towards maybe people in their 40s and 50s. Like the ones that I see, they're younger, but it's all age groups that I think the more older group would appreciate certain things a little bit more. Not that we need more luxury.
Have
but I
you
think-
seen the travel tours that they have for the National Geographic?
Yes, but have you seen the
Pero
prices?
¿has visto? That's where I was going. Los precios.
So this is a hack. You go on their thing, look at their itinerary. Just copy that itinerary. If that is
Yeah.
what you want to do.
I
And
know.
so that's
yeah.
what I do when I see certain things, because I would love to, but I do not have 50, 60,
No, hombre, se
70,000
pasan.
because you're only staying at really nice hotels. And be realistic. Jessica will let you know. When you travel, yes, you need somewhere safe, somewhere clean, but somewhere to stay. I don't need a 5-star. Have I stayed at those resorts? Yes, because of these credit card points. But it's not something I would never spend. Like, ahora en el Camino de Santiago, I spent a night in a suite. It was bigger than my living room. For one night, the room was $1,300. Yo en mi vida voy a pagar. Like, I got free food. I got a free tour of the... Me dio una botella de vino que tengo en la casa. I could not spend.
No.
No. Why? Yo lo que quiero es un lugar donde mis cosas se queden resguardadas, seguras, y donde pueda dormir tranquila, no haya chinches, y
Sí.
me pueda bañar y descansar.
Yeah.
So, somewhere
Porque
mid-range, I
la-
don't need super low either, because
Yeah.
I've done that, but somewhere in the middle, anywhere between $100 to $200 a night, I think that's our goal right now.
Pero ¿sabes qué? If we ever go, I have the military ID. We stay in the guest houses for like $8 a night.
¿Sí? The guest houses? Yeah.
8 to
No,
10,
y luego
12 hours.
más, aparte, nosotras cuando vamos, ya ves cuando fuimos during Thanksgiving, que fuimos las 3 hermanas, más aparte mi hermana llevó su suegra. So, when you divide that $200 room for 4 people, es nada.
Nada.
No gastamos nada.
Yeah. No. Yeah, yo digo que pues, si you're going to travel es porque vas a ir a conocer. You're not going to stay in the hotel day in and day out. I mean, no, a dormir, ¿verdad? Pero digo, así que disfrutes.
No, I have in the past, like, my first trip that I did totally alone a Paris, me levantaba a las 9, iba, había lo que quería, I would come back to my room, take a little nap, y luego me volvía a salir. But then you can start traveling a tu ritmo, a como tú quieres hacerlo. Pero you don't need to spend. I think travel, this is what the misconception, traveling is expensive. Travel is expensive as you make it seem.
Yeah.
So, como Jessica dice, yo trato de buscar un cuarto para 4 personas en $200. We were paying $50. La casa en Granada, qué bonito estuvo. Estuvimos 2 noches. Fue menos de $100 por persona. Incluía estacionamiento para el carro de renta. El carro de renta was also a couple $100. So we ended up spending, I think, $300 or $400 per person for all the... So no, it's as expensive as you want to make it.
Right, yeah. That's awesome.
No, pues sí. Pero, pues mucha información. A los que quieran more information, contacten a the Traveling Maestra or itinerary help, anything like that. She's up for it. A ella le encanta ayudar y ya tiene itineraries de los viajes de ella. If you guys need any referrals, a dónde ir, dónde ver, dónde comprar boletos o cómo comprar boletos, send her a message. She's more than happy to assist. Pero eso fue nuestro programa. Thank you, Traveling Maestra, to be on a double show here, 2 weeks in a row. Marta, anything you want to add?
No, muchas gracias for the information. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It took a lot of my questions out of and making my canicas up here work.
And you're bienvenida anytime you want. Any other subjects you want to go over? But that's our show for today, Marta.
Yep, muchas gracias.
Y nos vemos a la próxima.
Bye bye.